Strawberry biscuits, y'all. Let's make them. I'm gonna start with 2 pounds of strawberries, washed, dried, and chop them up. A cup of sugar on the berries. You're gonna let that sit for just a minute or two. Makes it super sweet and syrupy. Of course, you wanna mix it up a little bit. All right, let that sit for a minute, and then we'll be on to the next step. While that's sitting, we're going to do 2 cups of self-rising flour. Yes, it's a 10-pound container because it's cheaper at Sam's. Y'all go to Sam's or Costco, either one. 1, 2, and 1/4 cup of sugar, and I'm just gonna eyeball this, yes, with the flour thing. A little too much. 1/4 cup of sugar, and mix that up good. All right, time to get the butter. 1.5 sticks to your flour. Unsalted. There it is. Okay, and how are you gonna add this? You're gonna grate it. Grate it into the flour. Then you're gonna mix it up with your hands. So you gotta get dirty with sticky hands, which I don't love, but it's just the way you cook. You gotta get your hands dirty. See all that butter? Now you gotta use the utensils God gave you when you were born, and you're gonna mix it all up. You're gonna be pulling the flour over the butter, and as you're doing that, you're gonna be pinching with your fingers like this. It mixes that in. It's gonna make it a coarse flour. You gotta make sure your butter's cold. I didn't tell you that. Don't let it sit out on the counter. Not when you're making biscuits. Gotta make sure it is good and firm butter so that you get crumbly, see that? Crumbly dough. Okay, just gonna work at this for a minute and I'll get it just right and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, y'all, it's crumbly. See that? That's what you want it to look like. Now we're back to the strawberries. See that? See all the juice? That's what makes them good and sweet. Oh, my camera's trying to tip over, you guys. I need a different camera. Okay, so we're gonna take half of these and set them aside. I just use my hand. Okay, half of those, set them aside. And then I'm gonna wash these nasty hands. Hands are somewhat cleaner. Can't really keep clean hands when you're making biscuits, and especially not when you're putting fruit in the biscuits because you're constantly touching something. So, okay, so you're going to mash these up. It's gonna be interesting when you see where these go. Okay, not hard, just make them kind of juicy. Using a potato masher for this. I guess you could chop them more if you wanted to, or if you have some other way that you like to mash things up. Okay, see that? Almost like a sauce. 3/4 cup of milk. I'm gonna add a little vanilla. This is vanilla with bourbon from Trader Joe's. I'm gonna put about half of that in here and mix it up. This part I just use a fork because it's really gonna get messy. Okay, you can tell as you're mixing it, the bread starts to pull away. All right. Put a little bit more in here. All right, there's that part. We'll mix that up. Make sure all the flour is good and incorporated into a dough and not any sitting on the sides or the bottoms of the bowl. I don't know if you've ever made biscuits, but the flour likes to stick to the bottom. We don't want that. We want a dough. See that? Okay, next step is we're gonna fold in some strawberries. These are the ones I left sitting aside on the counter. And they are super, super, super juicy. They made lots of, I'm gonna have to bleach the counter after this. So be ready to clean after you do this. All right, we're just gonna mix that in here. And it mixed good. And it is gonna make the flour dough, biscuit dough, whatever it's called, a little sticky. So we're gonna have to do what? What happens when it's too sticky? You add more flour. Baking's not as scary as people think it is. I had to teach myself how to make biscuits. It's hard to learn that when you're young, but I finally picked that up. I got about a half a cup of flour. Sprinkle that over the top. I'm gonna mix that in. Try to firm the biscuits up. If not, you make one giant biscuit, which I did a couple of weeks ago, and it still tastes good, so who cares? Who cares if it comes out one giant biscuit? So if it comes out one giant biscuit with me today, y'all better not laugh, because no matter what it looks like, it's gonna taste good. So you can laugh at me if you want to, but I'll be eating something yummy. Okay, see how that firmed up the dough? All right, I gotta go wash these hands again. Gonna use the rest of that butter to butter the pan. What were we doing with these strawberries? Gonna pour them in there. And as the biscuits cook, they're gonna soak that up. Okay. This is a drop biscuit. Just scoop some out and drop it in the pan. That's what it looks like. I'm just gonna go in the oven. I did 400 degrees preheated. Okay, I decided to raise the temp to 425. There's a lot of moisture in those biscuits. And next time I may even try 450 to see what that does, but y'all do 425. Okay, while the biscuits are cooking, we're gonna make a glaze. Half a cup of powdered sugar. And I don't know how much milk. Just a little bit of milk. I'm just gonna mix it up so it's the consistency that you can just kind of drizzle it over the biscuits. I literally stepped away for maybe 10 minutes to take a shower, and I had this beautiful pan of biscuits. Grayson, show them what y'all did. They already got into them, guys. And like I told you, the biscuits will come away. I'll let them cool for a little bit. Look at that. All right, it's gonna be good. Y'all need to try this recipe and let me know how you like it.